Hi, on the workbench today I have a Miniware MHP50 hot plate and an SA80 soldering adapter sent in directly from Miniware. If you are interested after watching this video, you can check out the product links included in the video description below. The MHP50 hot plate had been out for quite a while. I just have not gotten my hands on one until now. So in today's video we'll take a look at the hot plate itself and the SA80 soldering adapter to see how well they work together. And by the way, I think there is some confusion about the Miniware brand itself. At some point, if I remember correctly, they actually had a website under the Miniware name. But that website had disappeared about a year ago, and I'm not sure why, but now there is a children's tableware store by the same name. Anyway, long story short, my understanding is that Miniware has always been a brand under eDesign, and you can find all their products in stores like Amazon. On this channel, I had reviewed an MHP30 hot plate from Miniware about a year ago. Putting these two hot plates side by side, you can see that the MHP30 is actually quite a bit smaller compared to the MHP50. This is actually more ergonomic in my opinion, as you are less likely to accidentally touch the hot surface while using it. And you can see that if I put a ruler here, you will see that the MHP30 is a lot taller than the MHP50. And here is a close-up shot. You can see these two hot plates side by side. And if I tilt them, you can see that the MHP30, which is on the right side, is a lot taller compared to the MHP50 on the left side here. The MHP30 is a great product, but the surface area is only 30mm by 30mm, as the model name indicates, and is relatively small. And some of the common circuit board, as this LED board, for example, you can see it doesn't really quite fit on this surface. So the larger surface area of the MHP50 definitely will come in handy when you're doing repair works of this kind of circuit board. Of course, being a more powerful hot plate and preheater has its own challenges. The power consumption by default is around 90 watts for a 20 volts input, and many cheap power PD adapters are only rated for around 65 watts. And higher wattage power PD adapters do exist, but they're a lot more expensive. Of course, you can actually change the maximum power setting of this MHP50, which I will show you a little bit later. So I appreciate the fact that MHP50 comes with both a USB-C connector and a barrel connector. According to the manual, the maximum voltage from the USB-C power PD input is 28 volts, and from the DC barrel jack is 24 volts. And I was able to power the hot plate using 28 volts via the DC jack with no problem. So I'm not sure why they specifically limited the DC barrel jack to 24 volts. And it appears that they have different plates for the MHP50. This one has this black, very smooth ceramic coating, just like the one had on the MHP30. They also have aluminum plate as well. Because of the size of the plate, it does take a while to heat it up to temperature. I tested the power required and the time it took to reach the set operating temperature. With 19 volts input, it took around 5 minutes 30 seconds to reach 300 degrees with the default 19 watts maximum power setting. Keep in mind that 300 degrees is a lot higher than what you would typically use, but this should give you an idea of the worst case scenario of how long it would take to heat it up. Changing the input voltage to 24 volts and then further to 28 volts didn't really impact the heat up time, as the default setting is 90 watts. Obviously, the higher the input voltage, the lower the required peak current. But of course, we're not limited to 90 watts. We can set it all the way up to 150 watts. Let me actually show you the settings. I currently connected it to my bench power supply using a barrel jack. Alright, let me turn on the power supply. And you can see we have this gorgeous color display. Of course, the color is a little bit washed out on the video here. Hopefully you can still see it. You probably also have heard it briefly when powering up. There is also a fan in the base to help cooling the electronics inside. Anyway, let's take a brief look at the menu items here. So let's go to menu, and I come here. You can see that you can set the temperatures, and there are some preset values. Standby time, backlight, tilt angle, yes. If you tilt this while it's in operation, it will actually shut off, which is a safety feature. And you can see there's a power PD maximum wattage, and here is the DC maximum power. We set it to 150, the default is 90. And yes, this does have a reflow profile. You can use it for reflowing. And that's pretty much everything on this menu here. Let's see what else we get. Info. Yes, so you can see here, it recognized the MHP50 attached. And later on, when we swap in the SA80 adapter, it should recognize that as well. And here is the software and hardware version. And let me just remove the top. Let's just show you what is underneath here. You can see that the top plate plugs into the bottom plate via these header pins. And here is the fan that I mentioned earlier. You can see that it's right sitting in the middle here. As I mentioned earlier, most cheap PD power supplies can't really handle more than 65 watts, and that's where the maximum power dissipation becomes handy. But of course, if you have to use it at 65 watts, it will take forever for the MHP50 to reach the operating temperature, and it probably does not have enough power to maintain the temperature once you have a larger circuit board placed on the hot plate. Anyway, at 150 watts, the hot plate was able to get up to temperature in just 2 minutes 48 seconds, which is just about half the time it took when the maximum power was kept at 90 watts, as you can see in this video clip I captured earlier. So let's actually use this hot plate to desolder this larger circuit board. And this is a LED lighting board. It has this aluminum backing, so it's going to be very difficult if you're trying to desolder with your regular soldering iron. So let's give it a go. I'm going to adjust the temperature to 250 degrees. As it's getting up to temperature, you can see the light color changes. Now, the sequence of the light actually doesn't make a lot of sense, but that just reminds you that the temperature is different. Alright, the temperature just reached 250 degrees. Let's let it sit for a few minutes, and let's see if we can remove the components here. Yeah, you can see that these LEDs came off with no problem. Yeah, let's see if the larger components can come up now. Yep, there's no problem. Now you get the idea. So it worked quite well with that circuit board. Let's change it to a different circuit board. This one is a little bit longer, and let's put it diagonally. You can see that as soon as we put the circuit board on, the temperature dropped a little bit, and that's normal. That's why I wanted to use the 150 watts input, so you can get up to temperature very quickly. Let's wait for a few seconds. You can see again, we have no problem removing these components. This one has some thermal mass at the bottom here. That's why it takes a while. And I forgot to show you earlier, you can see that from the thermal camera, the temperature is very uniform on this hot plate. Now, of course, the actual temperature reading is probably slightly different because of the material, but nevertheless, it's roughly in the same ballpark. You can see that right now we're showing around 280 degrees, actually it's 250 degrees, but that probably has something to do with the emissivity that we're setting here. Anyway, you can just see how uniform the temperature is on that hot plate. When you are done using the hot plate, you can just press this button and it will power it off. Now, of course, it doesn't tell you the current temperature, but you can actually feel the fan is blowing in the background. Now, the fan is very quiet. It doesn't really spin that fast, but it's working in the background to help keep the electronics cool. As mentioned earlier, this hot plate can also do SMD reflow work. Basically, you can set a temperature profile for preheating, soaking, and reflow soldering, and control the timing of each phase. Let me briefly show you the settings here. let's come to the menu here, and you can come down. And you can see Reflow. And here you can see that we can set these different times. So let's do here, for example, this is your preheating, and then you can come down to rise time, and then the soaking temperature, the soaking time, and the soldering time, soldering temperature, so on and so forth. I won't be demonstrating that in this video, but if you do a lot of SMD work, you will find this feature to be very useful. Anyway, the other item I wanted to review in this video is this SA80 soldering station adapter for the MHP50. Now, this is a very interesting concept, as nowadays there are a ton of these inexpensive self-contained smart soldering irons. So why would you use a soldering iron with a proprietary interface like this one? Well, the first thing is that since you already have an MHP50, all the control hardware is already in there. So technically all you need to do is just a dumb iron that can then be controlled by the same controller. So these soldering adapters are relatively inexpensive. Also, because there's no electronics inside, the handle can be made quite small and also lightweight. And these are some of the benefits I see with this soldering iron adapter. Anyway, the SA80 soldering adapter uses a TS80 soldering tip, so the maximum power is limited to 30 watts. Miniware does have other soldering adapters that can handle higher power requirements. Also, I should mention that older firmware of the MHP50 does not support these soldering station adapters. You will want to upgrade to the latest, and I think the version that supports these adapters starting from version 2.0. I had to update mine before this review. You can see that the SA80 mates onto the MHP hotplate base with these header pins. Now, for some reason, Miniware decided to use thinner pins on the MHP50. If you take a look at the pins on the MHP30, which I'll show you here, you'll see that these are much thicker. I actually like these pins on the MHP30 as they are a lot sturdier. You won't have to worry about accidentally bending them. The soldering iron also comes with this nice stand and also a grounding clip, which you can plug into the back of the base here. You can see here, there is a socket for you to insert the grounding clip. And here is the grounding connector that came with the soldering iron adapter. And you plug in back here. And the other end, of course, needs to be grounded. Alright, let me swap out the hot plate with this soldering adapter. And let me power it on. Let's go to info. And you can see that it had recognized we have the SA80 that is attached. And if we take a look at the menu here, you will see that the preset temperatures also have been adjusted to accommodate the soldering iron instead of the hot plate. These temperatures are a lot higher because now we're using a soldering iron instead of the hot plate. Anyway, let's turn it on. And you can see that it's heating up much quicker than the hot plate. Of course, that's to be expected. And let's actually change it to, let's say, 350. Do I have 350? Let's change it to 350 here. And let's use that to solder a row of headers here. And again, this is a knife-styled tip, which is not my favorite, but we'll do with that. And you can see it's actually quite easy. And no problem at all. All in all, I really like the MHP50 and its versatility. Compared to the MHP30, I probably will use this a lot more, to be very honest. The soldering station adapter is definitely an interesting concept. I think Miniware implemented it very well, and the SA80 adapter works great with the MHP50 as I have demonstrated. And that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you liked the video, please remember to give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this in the future. Your participation makes videos like this possible. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.